Hi guys, it's Live Explorer again, and today I would like to introduce the intervertebral joint and intervertebral disc to you all. So they exist from the C2 to 3 joint to L5 to S1, and it is the C2 to 3 is the first joint, and L5 to S1 is the last joint, and there are a total 33 intervertebral discs. So as you can see in the diagram, this highlighted in red is the intervertebral disc between every vertebral body of each vertebrae. And as you can see here, there's also a diagram for the articular capsule of cervical joint, which I will introduce that in other video. So first of all, this intervertebral joint and intervertebral disc increase the spinal flexibility and absorb shock, of course, and support weight. So you may ask, how does that absorb shock? And you can see here, this is the intervertebral disc, and here the central region is called the nucleus pulposus, and it is highly elastic. So the regional over here is called the annulus fibrosus, and it is relatively harder than the nucleus pulposus. So this is the overview of the intervertebral disc. So the nucleus pulposus is highly elastic and located slightly posterior, as you can see here. Highly elastic, and this side is the posterior and this is the anterior. So it is slightly located in the posterior side. So it contains 80% of water at birth. So this region contains a lot of water and high percentage at birth. But these kind of water content will decrease with age. These describe the fact that why the height of a human becomes shorter when they become older, and this is the reason why. And lastly, it absorbs load and acts as bearing during movement. This is the function of the IVD, intervertebral disc. And in the following, I'll talk about the intervertebral joints between the cervical spine, and this is the cervical spine. And you can see here the arrow pointing here regards the uncinate processes, and this is concave in shape, and it is also called the uncovertebral joint. And one point to be noted is that the uncovertebral joint only exists in the cervical spine, and it has a function to limit the sideways of the spinal motion. So here's a diagram of the unconvertebral joint. As you can see here, I noted with a large star that the unconvertebral joint only exists in the cervical region. So here's the diagram. These are the nucleus pulposus and annulus fibrosis that I've mentioned in previous slide. So please look careful of this diagram. And the joint of vertebral arches is also called a cervical joint, which means the facet joint in between every vertebral arcs. So this joint is a kind of plain synovial joint covered with hyaline cartilage, as you can see here, and its function is to permit gliding movement and control spinal motion, of course. So in different regions, they have different extent of motion. For example, for cervical, the cervical joint allows all kind of motion, but in thoracic, it allows rotation and side flexion. And lastly, for lumbar, it allows flexion and extension, of course. So this is the end of my sharing today about the intervertebral joint and intervertebral disc. So I hope you guys like it. And thank you for watching. Thank you.